Adjusting primary weights, just adjusting them on your primary clutch. I already started here, so this is the cap that comes off. There's my bolts. The one weight's out already. So these are called heavy hitter weights. I really recommend them because they're adjustable. You can adjust your weight by adding on these little bolts as needed. Loctite them in, of course. So my mid-range, this is how it works. Here's my one weight. Just gonna tear this. So you need a gram scale. These are 67 grams. So you could shave a little bit off this here if you wanted, make your weights lighter or not. In this case, wouldn't do that with these ones. They're fairly expensive, but these are the heavy hitters. So they have, you can put a little Allen key inside there. It's that'll add weight on your bottom end. This is for your mid-range, and this one on the end is your top end. So as you obviously add more here and there, you're taking weight away. My engine's pulling down a little bit in the mid-range, so I'm gonna just pull this one out on all three of them, and we'll go from there. And then I weigh them to make sure the weights are within, they have to be pretty close, dead on to each other. So anyways, show you how that's done real quick. So you can see I took just this one piece off, and that alone is 4.3 grams. So we were 67 before. Now we're down to 62.5. That's a big drop, actually. I don't know if I want to drop it that much. Oops. This one's just an aluminum one. That's the same one. So just gonna put this weight back in. So yeah, it just slides in just like that. Pretty straightforward. Make sure you get these spacers in right. It's a Comet clutch, so pretty easy to work on these clutches. These aren't cat clutches. I got away from the cat clutches, just wanted to try something a little different. So the Comet clutch is much like the Polaris clutch, very similar in design. I think they're easier to work on than the cat clutches, just for the reasoning is on the cat clutches they did a silly set screw that kind of screwed into the weight, and then that, to hold that weight in place, that set screw had to match a pin on the bolt, and I saw so many of those break. And if the set screw didn't get Loctited in properly or tightened up properly, then what would happen is the actual weight would gouge into here, and it would wreck this roller on the spider, or it would gouge right into the spider itself. So either way, you wreck your spider or the roller here, and you're looking at, I think these are about 200, 250, and you can't just change the roller, you got to change the whole thing. And good luck getting these things off. They're very hard to get off. So that being said, that was one of my main reasons for going away from that kind of clutch system. This is just a freewheeling weight. There's nothing to lock it to this bolt here. Bolt goes in really easy. You got two spacers. These again are heavy hitter weights, but they line up just perfectly. I don't know if you can see that. Line up just perfectly with this weight. The weight has a groove in it too, or sorry, the bushing has a groove in it, so it actually follows it. One thing to keep an eye on is these clutches are all balanced, so they'll be marked. Here's a mark here, there's a mark on top, and there'll be a mark on here. There it is right there. So that little mark has to line up with this mark, which has to line up with that mark. If you don't get that on right, you put it on a totally different way, your clutch is out of balance, which I guess in turn could throw your crank out, right? If it's out of balance, it's really bad. So yeah. So looking at these, if you wanted to adjust things, you could actually, bring these down, right? Each one individually buff and bring it down to whatever, right? So this is 4.4, you could bring these down to, let's say, 2.4, right? By just shaving them, shaving the head. So this is 62.7. All the numbers look to be good. All are in similar range, which is good. That's what you want. Otherwise you gotta touch up the weight a bit, take a little bit. I want to check them out too, make sure there's no major blems. So it looks good. So 62.7. And 63.6. See if I could tear that a bit. 63.6. So yeah, it's bouncing around there. 63.6. You might ask why mark these numbers down. I think this was like 62.8, 67. Why? Because if the sled is revving too high at 63.6 in around this area, and it's you know, not revving enough at 67.1 or 67.2, whatever, 67 we'll say, I know that at that point I gotta be in between here. So that's where I could come in and shave maybe these three, go down to, let's say, you know, 65 or something, you know, 65 point whatever, right? But at least I got something to go off of. So these numbers do have to make sense, right? Or there's a reason behind writing this down. Same thing, Loctite them up, put them back on, put them fairly tight. If you decide to get some heavy hitters. Nice thing about these is just there's like, look what you can do with them, right? It's not just before what the problem was, you'd have to buy a weight and guess basically, and if that weight wasn't the right weight, you'd have to go up 2 ounces or down 2 ounces. So if you got 68s and it was too heavy, you'd have to go to 66s. So you're buying weights every single time, and these you can just adjust to however you want, right? So really nice how you can adjust them. So putting the clutch back on, again the marks, this clutch was done by another guy and he marked it here, so the XXX, and if you look, so just gonna turn it over, it's also marked here. I don't know if you see a dot, and then on top here, dot. So